Hi, my name's Laura. How can I help you today? You're looking for some new games? That's great, you've come to the right place. And would you like any assistance in trying to find a new game today? I'd be happy to help. So, is there anything in particular you were looking for today? Okay, so just games and no accessories. Okay. And what console will you be buying games for today? The PlayStation? And which one? 4. Good choice. So, did you have any particular titles you were looking for today? Okay. Yeah, I think we have those. And before I grab those for you, were you looking for any other titles? You're not sure what you're looking for yet? That's okay. Feel free to have a browse with me. And just to help you with your choices today, I just wanted to ask, what type of games are you into? What genres? RPGs, JRPGs, MMOs? A little bit of everything. Good. Good. It's good to be a versatile player. But those are your favorites. Okay, that's fair. Alright, so I'll go have a look at the stock and see what matches I can find for you today, okay? Okay, good. So you mentioned that you liked a little bit of everything, but you wanted them to be more so on the newer side of releases. Okay, that's fair. So I found this for you, which I think matches up to what you were looking for today. This is Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. This is a remaster of the PS1 trilogy. Crash Bandicoot, Crash Bandicoot Cortex Strikes Back, and Crash Bandicoot Warped. And you'll find with this series that this has definitely been revitalized. Did you happen to play the games on the original console? I see. Well, with that answer in mind, I'd just like to let you know that this game has definitely been brought back to life, and you'll find that this game has a whole new experience involved with it. The graphics have definitely been modernized. I would like to note, though, that especially on the first game of this one, the controls have definitely been tightened up a lot, and a lot of players have found it a little bit more difficult to warm up to it, so I just wanted to give you a heads up should you decide to purchase this today. Now, interestingly, the controls are different on every single one of these games. You'll find that the controls are certainly smoother as you go along throughout the series. Do you happen to have a favourite? 3, good. I like 3 too. 3 was probably my favourite. Now, of course, this follows the game almost section by section accurately as it did on the PS1, so you'll definitely get a nostalgic feel as you play this. There are over 100 levels, and your 2 playable characters, just like in the originals, which are Coco and Crash. And this is definitely, like I said, been brought back to life, and even the graphics for when they were originally released all the way up to PS2, I would say, were definitely beautiful and stunning for their time. I would say that they went in a little bit more of an interesting direction after PS2, but this feels more like it should. And despite the fact that Activision did take over, I do think that they presented Crash Bandicoot very wonderfully to its nostalgic predecessor. So I would definitely say give this a go for nostalgic purposes. This has been remastered spectacularly. I know that with some games you'll find that they're remastered fairly poorly, or they're too disjointed or too modernized, and you almost lose that nostalgic feeling, but I assure you, these sound effects have been kept true to tradition, and this is definitely how it should be in terms of keeping with the times. You'll definitely feel like you're jumping straight back to your childhood with this one. You'll take this? Excellent. Good. So I'll just pick up a couple of the titles you said you were looking for also. Good. So, you mentioned that you were a Lego game fan. So I wanted to grab this one for you. This is Lego City Undercover. And this was originally released on the Wii U back in 2013. However, this was brought to the PlayStation 4 and other platforms recently as of 2017. Now this game actually follows as a tribute to the Grand Theft Auto series, so it has a lot more of adult humour and it has a lot of nostalgia incorporated with it. Throwbacks to old detective shows, undercover shows, things like that. So basically, this is set in Lego City, and you play Chase McCain, and you are an undercover cop, so it's definitely a reverse to GTA, but it follows the same feel. And you get to fly in helicopters, have different disguises, and it's very much an open world experience with this game. But you also mentioned that you wanted a multiplayer, and whilst a couple of the Lego games did split screen a little roughly on the PS4, this one is a split down the middle split screen, so you can use this as a wonderful couch game, which is definitely a rare treat for the PlayStation. However, I believe that this was done for split screen very effectively. So I'll just tell you what it says on the back. Play with a friend in local split screen. Don multiple disguises with unique skills and abilities. Collect and customize over 100 vehicles. So definitely if you like car games or games with helicopters, lots of vehicles involved, this is definitely for you. However, this has an excellent story, but I do think that the one thing this game champions has to be the open world feel. A lot of the Lego games are very claustrophobic and structured. You have to follow one path. However, you can very easily get distracted in this game with the sheer size of the world, which is extremely impressive for a Lego game, I would say. So if you happen to like the GTA series, you do, good, then I really do think that this is a relaxed, almost childish approach to GTA. And I do think that you and a friend could have a really fun time playing this. It can seem a little questionable at first because it's not based on any particular TV show or movie, but this really does stand by itself as a really great game. Even if you don't like the story, I would definitely say that this is a comical partner to GTA. You take this? Very good. So, one of the games that you said that you wanted was Yakuza or Yakuza 0. Is that right? Good. Well, we have it in stock for you. Now, have you happened to play any of the Yakuza games before? You have? It's definitely an old series. It dates back to 2005. And this is set as a prequel to the series, despite it being released very recently. I believe that this originally was released in 2015. However, it was brought to Western audiences in 2017. This is a rather stunning game. It follows the basic concept of the rest of the Yakuza series, but definitely adds a little bit more humour and different fighting styles to the game. So this is something you'll be taking, right? Good. Well, just to confirm a couple of details for you, this was confirmed by Metacritic and IGN to get a really good score of 8 out of 10. So this is a really promising continue of the series. The series does not weaken, as I'm sure you can tell, with the games that it makes along the way. It's definitely a strong collection of games. This is a third-person action-adventure open-world game, just like its predecessors, technically the games that follow it. I'll just tell you the plot on the back. Kazuma Kiryu is a junior Yakuza who collects debts. But when a debtor turns up dead, the family's business is threatened, and Kiryu finds himself on the wrong end of a bad deal. Meanwhile, Goro Majima has been exiled to Osaka for disobeying orders. Now working as manager of the club Grand, he yearns to return home and gets his chance when a hit is put on the table. So this is set in 1988, and it really does capture the atmosphere of that particular era very well. I've happened to play this myself, and I had a lot of fun with this game. A couple of elements that the game incorporates includes karaoke, and there is a rather difficult character in this called Mr. Shakedown, who is a particularly difficult character to take on, who you'll find randomly throughout the open world in this. Definitely an immersive game, certainly a funny game, and you'll have up to 100 hours, maybe more, of fun on this game, I would say. I personally have only played this one. Okay, so you'll definitely be taking this then? Excellent choice. I'll be sure to put it aside for you. Good, I see we're on a good roll so far. Good. You mentioned that you liked RPGs and you were looking for a couple of Final Fantasy games, is that correct? Okay. Well, I wanted to show you something very special today. This was released in 2017. This is Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, and this is a steelbook version of the remastered version of the 2006 release. Have you ever played this one before? You wanted to try it on a new console? Good choice. Well, this is a wonderful game to add to your Final Fantasy collection. This is based on the stunning original, which was, I believe, one of the 4th best-selling games on PlayStation of 2006. So it certainly had a very strong reputation to live up to when it was remade. Now this is encased in a beautiful steelbook, and I definitely believe that this will be a wonderful game to add. The wonderful thing about this game is that it incorporates so many new things into Final Fantasy, which was certainly a game changer in 2006. One of the things it incorporated was being one of the first Final Fantasies to be an open world game. Technically you could include Final Fantasy XI in that, however, as just a single player based game, this championed that idea into Final Fantasy. Now the plot basically is that the world is at war, as it typically is in Final Fantasy, and you have 6 playable characters in the series, including Ash and Van, who help you protect one another during these wars. Now, whilst the game does have several new elements, including a licensing system to upgrade your characters, it does include our heartfelt loved Chocobos and Moogles, which I do think are wonderful and necessary elements of Final Fantasy. Now, also included in this game is a new Hunter side quest system, and unlike its predecessors, this game also has a 360-degree view, and the characters are made for the world instead of being caricature and ill-fitted to the world around you, so you'll find yourself in a more immersive experience. Also with this game, there isn't as much emphasis on Gil. Whilst it does exist in the world, you'll find that you're more focused on leveling up as opposed to gaining Gil. The monsters you destroy in the game will drop loot, which will be the emphasis for receiving Gil in the game, as opposed to just receiving it from destroying monsters. It definitely has an interesting art style, and the remaster was well received also, receiving a strong, I believe, 7.5 out of 10 from a lot of the strong video game reviewing companies. So this is something I would say you should add to your collection. It's not one that I have personally played, but I would definitely encourage a go at this game. If nothing else, the steelbook itself is a wonderful piece for any steelbook collector. The art style on it happens to be just beautiful. Isn't that so pretty? It encases all the characters in the game on this beautiful watercolor design. You ever think on this one? That's fair. It can definitely be one of those games that you might need to watch a little bit of gameplay on, or read a couple of in-depth reviews on, because this is a very long game. And so it's best to prepare yourself for the length of the game. So I think I have a couple of other games in mind for you. Would you like to have a look at them? Absolutely. So I happen to think we're doing very well so far with our picks. However, the last game that I found for you is Resident Evil 5. Are you a fan of this series? Okay, so if you're unfamiliar, well, you don't really need to have played any of the other Resident Evils to get a grasp of this one. I didn't necessarily pick this up for you because it was Resident Evil. It was more because you mentioned that you were looking for some strong counter games. Now this has been noted as one of the strongest counter games for consoles, and it has local multiplayer and it also has online multiplayer, so it has a little bit of diversity for it. Now this was originally released on the PS3 and this was ported onto the PS4, and this includes all the DLC and the extra parts that you would receive on the PS3 version. In terms of looking any different to the PS3 one, it simply does not. However, it, like I said, has a really good multiplayer for the story mode, and the story mode itself can be upwards of 20 to 25 hours, maybe a little bit more, depending on how well you pick up these types of games. And in terms of AI, it responds very well with this game. It's made very well to coincide and work with the main character of the game. The game comes with a variety of DLC, including 2 extra story modes, including Lost in Nightmares and Desperate Escape. So if you find yourself feeling a little bit bored with the story, which I think is quite strong for Resident Evil 5, despite its mixed reviews, I would definitely say to give Lost in Nightmares and Desperate Escape a go, because you play as some different characters in the game. They help fill in plot holes that you may not understand, and it also gives a different perspective on horror altogether. I find that Lost in Nightmares will definitely emphasize this point. So in terms of something that's fairly cheap, a good multiplayer, and just a fairly well-rounded game, it doesn't really have emphasis on horror like the majority of the series does. I would say this is just a good, strong action game, just to relax with. You'll take this? Good. Very good. Well, that is all of the choices that I believe matched up with the criteria you were looking for today. Did you have any other games or titles in mind? Do not? It's okay. So I'd just like to ask you, what are your final thoughts and feelings on the Final Fantasy XII? You'll pass on that one. That's okay. Well, I believe we've collected today 4 games. So that'll definitely keep you busy for the next few months, I would say. So I hope that you are pleased with your choices today. If you do happen to find any more titles, if you'd like any more advice on finding a new game, please feel free to ask. We have a variety of games here for all console types. And I'm so happy that you found some choices you were looking for today. Alright, so I'll be sure to put these at the counter for you, and the lady at the desk will be sure to help you. Alrighty, you take care. Bye-bye.